You were really,
Scruffy urchin.
Yeah, ever said that? It was good.
Clean yourself up. I did. Take a lot of showers.
But we have Roger Vadim. He helped make many stars. Of course, of note, Jane Fonda and was Brigitte Bardot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yet you're an established star. You've already done a number of pictures, and everybody knows who you are. How about that? Why do you want to do this film? You're already established, and you knew that people know you, and he's not going to make you a star because you're already there.
I didn't take the film and God Created Woman to follow in anyone's footsteps or to be made a star in any way. It was a script that came to me. He offered it to me outright, and it was a really enchanting character. I thought there was a lot I could do with this particular woman. And that was really my focus, was the character. And I liked what the film as a whole said in its own roundabout, mischievous way. It was a very interesting, unorthodox view of feminism and of the changing values between men and women these days. And
your roles have, variety is stamped on your roles. I mean, you've played, from Risky Business to Trip to Bountiful to now God Created Woman. Is it important to you, imperative to you, role variety?
Yeah, I would start to get bored if I had to do the same role too often in a row. I've been lucky. I know, particularly in films in Hollywood, you tend to be typecast, and I was not, and haven't been, and have been able to play a great variety of roles, which is really exciting.
Yeah, it's evident. I mean, it's good because some people are, they get put into a certain mold and that's it, and they say, well, she can't play this part.
Everybody wants to categorize you, like pigeonhole you, and it's really your job to just try and just constantly bounce out of it, because everybody wants to.
Yeah, that's true. And your character in this one is a woman that'll go after anything she wants, that she wants to get, and no matter what way she can get to it, she seems to get there. She's getting out of prison, sneaking out in a car, the whole thing, getting her freedom. Where did you draw from for this character? Did you draw from past or some things that happened in your life? Or?
Building this character was a really long process. On some films, like The Trip to Bountiful, like I was telling you, I had 4 days to go into it. I had to finish one film, Runaway Train, 4 days, quickly, do an entirely different character, which is something. On this film, I had a lot of time beforehand, and a lot of elements came in to play to help create this girl, Robin Shea. Namely, I had the opportunity of working with Roger Vadim for 3 months prior to shooting, honing the script, exchanging ideas on a daily basis of why this girl is who she is, who is she really, what are her fears, what are her longings, how is she fun, and really making that a joint effort between the two of us, and then also the writer that came on, a secondary writer, a woman called Becky Johnston, who is not credited but in fact did do a lot of the dialogue. So I had that period, and I also was able to establish Robin through the help of the music. Number one, her instrument, she plays the bass guitar. She's a songwriter. I learned the bass guitar for 3 months prior to shooting, practiced every day, learned how to play the songs that she writes in the film, and play them on screen. And I also worked with a wonderful choreographer, Kenny Ortega, who did the choreography on Dirty Dancing, among other things, who's a really hot, exciting presence, who gave Robin then a sort of choice of movements. We worked together. So there were a lot of people helping me form this character in a great time before we started, which was fun.
Now you say that, I mean, that's rare that happens, isn't it? That you get 3 months to work on something before you do it?
It really is rare. It's an actor's dream to have the time and really be in union with the director, that you really both have the same idea and have the time to prepare. You usually don't get it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, is it just that I'll let you enjoy it. Is it that he was so into it that he decided that he wanted all the actors to work like this, or is it just that something that you said, Roger, I wanted, have this preparation ahead of time, or just?
Well, it was kind of a very lucky coincidence, everything. He offered me the part way ahead in advance of shooting, so he was sure about that, and I really didn't have to verbalize these things to him. It really evolved. He unspokenly had a lot of the same ideas about preparing as I had hoped for. So it really just evolved.
Yeah, and it worked well for you.
Thank you.
How do you relax yourself? I mean, there are several lovemaking scenes in the motion picture. How do you relax yourself before doing a scene like that?
Well, I know there's a lot of people ask me that question. There's a big sort of controversy about what is it like to do a love scene on film, and frankly, it's really no different than preparing yourself for any other scene. Some people are more self-conscious about certain aspects of life and of feeling than others. Some people are very afraid to show anger on screen. Some people are afraid to show love on screen. I personally have no problem with it whatsoever when it goes together with the plot and the character. In other words, if it's not an exploitative, gratuitous scene, if it is for a reason that I have understood long in advance of shooting, I'm instantly relaxed already. It's a part of the script. And it's, I guess in a long answer to your question, is not of particular importance to me preparing for those kind of scenes.
What are the ones that you find difficult to work on? You say anger, some find anger. What do you?
Probably, actually, I personally can't differentiate between any of them. I probably have equal problems or less problems with everything or anything. Just being in the moment in front of a camera is, to me, the hardest thing, and that's the most exquisite thing to watch when that happens, is not having pre-planned your responses, being able to ride the moment like a roller coaster and go with what is there after you've done all your homework.
Which is tough because you have to do several takes sometimes, and
That's right.
try to get that same energy level or same spontaneity or what have you.
That's
right,
and it's usually never exactly the same 2 takes in a row, and that's a danger too, to do a take and fall in love with it and then try to repeat that thing as opposed to just letting whatever is going to happen on the second take happen.
And when people see these scenes, I mean, there is some very well, as you say, not overly exploitive sex lovemaking scenes in the movie. They think, whoa, that's hot stuff, and then they don't realize that they're like, technicians watching you and waiting for lighting, and it's a whole, they think it's boy, these get really into it, it's a hot thing, but it's really like it's different. It's difficult for the actor to keep a concentration, isn't it, when you're doing something like that?
It's always difficult. Your concentration is absolutely focal in making a movie. There's just too many people standing around you, particularly the closer the camera gets to you for close-ups. The closer the camera is and the closer the group of people who don't really belong in the scene are standing around you. So concentration and relaxation are probably the most important things in movie making, I'd say.
And you've mastered those, you think?
I'm moving along in the right direction, I feel.
It seems so. Seems so. You've done several films now behind you, working, as we say, in different characters. Some hits and some misses, didn't do so well, and others did very well. How do you personally handle success and failure?
Well, I was very lucky because I had 2 experiences in a row that really showed me the gamut. The first film I ever did was Risky Business, which was this huge hit. And I was very naive, and it was my first film, and I assumed that every film I did would be like that. And that was what movie making was. And so I had this point of view, and then I did The Slugger's Wife, and that was, of course, a big flop, and it really hurt my feelings at that time. It really woke me up to really not falling under the influence too much of what anyone says about any film, because you can be lifted up so high and then shot down so much. And I think it was a gift that I was given those 2 films in a row, to really be able to see in perspective that the work is what counts, even if it sounds like a cliche. It really is. And I learned tremendously on making The Slugger's Wife. And I wouldn't have not do it in retrospect. I really learned a lot. And if you can't always hit, and funnily enough, Slugger's Wife was about baseball, and in baseball they know that better than anyone.
And you actually played a singer in that too. I mean, you had a rock and roll star.
Yeah.
And so you've had a lot of experience singing now. Are you going to do some on your own, or are we going to see some of Rebecca De Mornay albums?
No, I was interested in singing in my teens. I guess everybody is, and I think I prefer sticking to acting, although I love the opportunity to play a singer.
How about selectivity in roles? How selective do you think you are with the roles that you choose to play?
I've been very selective. Comparatively, I know I've turned a lot of things down. Sometimes it's good in terms of that you're only in films that you really feel something for. On the other hand, after Risky Business, I really didn't work for a year because of that. I really sat around, except for a tiny role in Testament that I took, which can be sort of gnawing after a while. You're an actor and you want to act, and at the same time, you know, there's not tons of things around that are fabulous.
Are you happy with the choices thus far?
Oh yeah, very.
You wouldn't change anything if you...
No, I wouldn't. I'm very happy.
I don't think you can hear many people say that, so that's good. You really made the right
Yeah,
choices.
and so that's maybe where it pays off of having been selective. Like I said, maybe some other people get to do more films in a row than I've done. It's a trade-off.
You know, you see some of these actors that are, you know, flash-in-the-pan stars. They do one film and then you lose them and you don't see them again. You've had a nice longevity, and it's been, you know, a relatively short time. You've done some nice films. How much validity do you put into the phrase, in getting film roles, it's a matter of being in the right place at the right time? Does that make any sense to you at all?
Oh yeah, it definitely does. There's particularly in movies, there's a big element of a roulette game going on. It really, a lot of it does have to do with being in the right place at the right time. A lot has to do with, do you have the talent to back yourself up when you're at the right place at the right time? But who's to say? It's really up in the air, because there's so many talented people who don't get work, and there's so many untalented people that do get work, and there's no answers.
And with this one, God Created Woman, you are indeed the woman. I mean, I don't know, you know, it's the title,
woman
character.
that God created.
What do you think, seriously, what do you think when you saw the finished product? I'm sure you've seen the movie a few times. What do you think this film is going to do for Rebecca De Mornay's career down the road?
God, you know, I can't answer that. I wish I could. Then I'd be psychic, and then I'd know what to do next, and I'd know a lot of things that I don't know. I don't know. I just hope that people enjoy the film as much as I hope they will, and that people, girls particularly, are turned on to the certain independence and feistiness that this character has. And I think guys will like her too, I think.
Well, I certainly did. But if you had, let's give you a few hypothetical situations to wrap up here. If you had unlimited funds, all right, we're talking unlimited funds, like your last contract, you know what you're talking about, and you could produce a movie, you know, you have the stars, director, storyline, whatever you wanted. Is there a movie yet to be made that you are striving for, something you'd really like to see done?
Well, I think I'm a little bit too young for it, but I would really like to play the role of Cleopatra. I like this character a lot. I've been reading a lot of Shakespeare lately, and I really like this character a lot, his Cleopatra and Antony and Cleopatra. And I also like the role of Juliet. Juliet. I don't know, I'd also like to work with Milos Forman as Sidney Pollack also. There's a lot of good directors out there.
Who would play Antony to your Cleopatra? Anybody in mind? Any couple or any?
Maybe John Malkovich.
Yeah, that would be an interesting cast.
Yeah.
You know. He's quite an actor, isn't he?
Yeah,
Fine
he
actor.
is.
Really is.
Yeah.
With this business, you know, you have your perspectives in the right direction, and it seems like everything's going fine. But we all have different fears in our lives. If I were to put you in a Twilight Zone episode, all right, and you had to face your deepest fear in life right now, what would that be, Rebecca?
Oh, well, I can tell you right off the bat, the thing, it would be that I would be fainting. That I have fainted on a number of occasions. Particularly, I have a thing about needles. I don't like needles at all. And I've fainted sometimes when someone's like taken a blood sample, and it's the most horrifying experience. I remember waking up on a doctor's office floor with like 10 people standing over me, staring at me that I didn't know, and looking up at them, and there's this strange feeling that you get of the world rushing around really fast, and you're sort of in a hot, cold sweat, and I thought, it's just got to be hell. I'm in hell. And That's it.
Painting. And finally for you, you've played, as we say, characters with variety and different personalities, idiosyncrasies to the characters. If we were looking in a regular dictionary and we saw the noun Rebecca de Mornay, what would some of the definitions read next to that noun?
God, you know, I think I'm very perceptive about other things and other people, and about myself, I really don't know. I think we all tend to have an idea who we are, and that's not who we really are, and other people know us better. If you asked my boyfriend and a couple of my closer friends, you'd probably get a better definition of me.
So it's tough to self-define, right?
I think so. I think so.
But we look forward.
Because Oscar Wilde said this thing that I really like. He said, one's real life is often the life one does not lead. And I feel with that.
Well, good. Good. That was a good quote. It was a good way to finish up the interview. And you're always nice to talk to, and you're a very bright woman, and you always have very good answers for us. And we thank you for coming on Crook and Chase. Good luck with the movie.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.